Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
I'd like your opinion on whether or not I should go back to baby step 2 and help my husband. I've been working the Ramsey for just under a year, and so I'm a lot farther than him. I think I'm on 6. So now that he's fully on board, I'm just wondering if I should go back and start helping him.
Okay. Yeah, you've been doing it wrong. So yes, you should. You should have been with him all along. You're married. So definitely you should combine your goals. You should combine your dreams. You should plan to be married a long time, and you should, combine all income, combine all problems, and combine all solutions. And that's the fastest and the highest probability of a high quality marriage that becomes wealthy.
Okay.
The couples that do what you guys have been doing have a very low statistical probability in the data that we have of actually becoming wealthy. And generally it ends up in some kind of marriage problem.
Okay.
Because you're not dreaming together, you're not setting a future in your mind together. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, and I've been trying to get him on board. It's just he's a little stubborn, so I can't force him. I couldn't, just stuff it down his throat. I just listened to like the Ramsey personality books really loudly, and
you can't. And being obnoxious doesn't work either.
No. I wasn't trying.
Yeah. You listen really loudly. I heard you.
Well,
I love you.
Like
You're awesome.
If we're in the car on a long trip, I just put one of the books on.
How long have y'all been married?
I'm not gonna. 25 years.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow. Are you both for separate accounts or just him? You separated your money. Is that something you both have been for this whole time, or just him? Because that's another issue here.
You mean separating the money?
Yeah, you guys have separate accounts. You said his consumer debts. Yeah. Dave said you need to do it together. I'm curious, are you both on that same page that you've always had separate accounts and you were fine with it, or is it him or you? Who's driving the separation of the accounts?
Well, when we were first married, all of our money was together, and he was kind of like hands off. He's like, here's my paycheck, just do whatever with it. But then we ran into some problems, and one of us had developed a major addiction problem. So the other one of us had to do it for safety purposes because I couldn't keep the bills paid without, the money being in the account. So it was separated for a reason, but now that's been resolved. I think we're in a great place to get our finances back together. It's just been so long now that it's kind of weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I think we're moving forward.
That's understandable. That makes a lot of sense.
It is awkward. I'll give you that. And that's fair. And, the history you just laid out explains a lot, really. So that part's fair. Again, where you guys paint a detailed picture of what our life looks like 20 years from now, and then we combine forces to knock down blockers and achieve the goals to get to that life, and that creates not only an incredible relationship of trust and high levels of communication and respect. But it also actually increases the probability of that life that you pictured occurring. Because we find, we studied 10,167 millionaires. One of the things we found among them was 89% said my spouse and I work together. And that's the proof in the pudding right there. I mean, it's like 9 out of 10 of them. So 10% found a way to get there with a reluctant spouse somehow, or with a spouse that was a hardhead, or a spouse that didn't want to participate, or a spouse that wouldn't listen, or whatever. But 89% got there by the two of us looking like two adults saying, hey, let's talk about where we want to be. Let's get agreement on where we want to be, and then let's get in attack mode to get there.
Dave, you've done a lot of financial counseling, crisis with couples. I'm going to bring this up for your take, but it feels like, hearing what Kate just said, that this might be the last piece of the healing. Yeah. That she goes, okay, you've done your work, you've cleaned up, and now I'm going to trust you. And boy, that forgiveness in the form of trust feels like the last piece of healing and hopefully restoration for them.
Well, and not only that, he's more like my wife, Sharon. Sharon said, whatever you want to do, honey.
Right.
And one of the things we had to come up with was we said, okay, we just can't use that phrase anymore. You can't say that anymore because I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do whatever I want to do.
Right.
I'm going to do whatever we want to do. And so you're going to have to speak up, and I'm not going along with this. You're going to dump it on me, because then if it's not right, you're going to blame me, and I'm not okay with that. I'm not. When we agree together, I told you so leaves. And so I'm not taking the responsibility for this whole thing by myself. You're going to be with me. And I get it that I'm the nerd. I get it. I'm probably going to be the one executing a lot of the details of this, and the one probably writes out the stupid spreadsheet. I'm that guy. I get all of that. But you're going to have a voice in this, a vote in this, and I don't even care if you want to. You still have to. You still have to say what we are doing together. You have to say it out loud. You cannot say whatever you want to do, honey. And you know, it's kind of when you're young and you're married, and your wife looks at you and says, whatever you want to do, honey, you kind of stick your chest out and go, of course I'll be them. I'll take care of everything, little lady. You know, and it's like, then you find out you're an idiot. And you really, you know, I don't want to do everything I want to do.
Yeah, that's good.
I want to do the stuff together. It's much more effective. I make better decisions with the other half of my brain plugged in, called her.
Yeah,
you know. And so who can find a virtuous wife, for her worth is far above rubies? The heart of her husband safely trusts her, and he will have no lack of gain. I'm convinced one of the reasons that we're very wealthy today after recovering from bankruptcy 30 years ago is not just that we've made some money, but that we work together. I trust my virtuous wife, and I have had no lack of gain. I mean, that proverb is playing out right in front of you, boys and girls. So that's what it's about. And Kate, I really like where y'all are having fun with this. You're laughing about it. I'll turn it up. I'm going to be obnoxious and turn up the Ramsey books too loud, and that's fun. And you know, you've worked through some tough stuff there in the past, and the verbiage that you use tells me it's probably way in the past.
Yep. And
Ken's probably exactly right that him saying, I'm going to participate in the decision-making like a grown man.
Yeah.
Not necessarily do all the detail stuff, because I can tell you, Kate's the detail nerd.
Yeah, no question.
Okay? But him saying that is part of him coming past the former problems and saying, all right, I actually have an opinion, and it does matter, even though I have that in my past.
That's right.
And that's a part of his healing.
Yeah, it's absolute restoration is what I'm hearing here.
Yep, amen. Amen. And it's really, really powerful. Builds trust like you wouldn't believe. Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.